Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd yakun Allah fi kitabihil kareem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa laqad nasrakum Allahu bi Badrin wa antum adillah fattaqullaha la'allakum tashkurun. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When coming to examine the importance of the Battle of Badr, we find it holds significance to both Muslims as well as non-Muslims. The battle, which took place in the second year after Hijrah on the 17th of Ramadan, was the first real test the Muslims were given to prove their faith. This battle holds such significance such that Imam Zainul Abidin salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi in his famous speech in the courtyard of Ibn Ziyad said, "I am the son of the one who fought in Badr and Hunayn." And he also said, "I am a Makki, a Madani, a Badri and an Uhudi," highlighting the importance of this battle. This battle not only holds significance to Islamic history, but it also provides examples as to how Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam was a man of honor, a man of peace, through his treatment of the prisoners of war. Therefore, to fully understand how significant this battle was, we must look at the following stages. Number 1, what reasons were there for this battle to take place? Number 2, what particular events happened during the course of this battle? Number 3, how did the Holy Prophet treat the prisoners of war? And number 4, how significant was this battle to the Muslims after it was fought? Number 1, what reasons were there for this battle to take place? We find the Muslims lived through a period of severe oppression and severe opposition from the Quraysh because of Islam's monotheistic ideas. The Makkans used to constantly torture Rasulullah because he was the bringer of the religion of Islam. Not only the Holy Prophet, but companions of the Holy Prophet, such as Bilal, who was tortured simply because he was a black slave who was a believer in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Companions such as Ammar bin Yasir, whose parents Yasir and Sumayya were killed simply because they were believers in the religion of Islam. Some Muslims, as a result of this torture, migrated to Abyssinia in Africa, whilst the majority of Muslims migrated to Medina. The Makkans wanted to destroy Islam and had plotted to kill the Holy Prophet on the night of the Hijrah, where he migrated from Makkah to Medina. Even after the Muslims had migrated to the Medina, they were still being tortured. So much so that Abu Jahl used to live on the outskirts of Medina, planning an attack to kill the Holy Prophet. When the Muslims travelled, they were being tortured. Their caravans were stolen and their possessions were looted. In the second year after Hijrah, Abu Sufyan had led a caravan from Makkah to Syria for trading, and the Makkans had sacrificed their profits for that year to invest in weapons and armor to kill the Holy Prophet and to fight the Muslims. Upon Abu Sufyan's return, he brought back these weapons the Makkans had wanted. Rasulullah wanted to inquire about this caravan, so he sent his companion Talha. Some reports say Hadi sent him to go and find out about the whereabouts and the details of this caravan. Upon their return, they told the Holy Prophet 3 vital things. Number 1, this caravan was headed by Abu Sufyan and was guarded by 40 guards. Number 2, this caravan had a value of around 50,000 dirhams. And number 3, and most importantly, this caravan had within it armor and weapons wanting to fight the Muslims. Rasulullah had told his people, we must go towards these caravans and we must stop these caravans. If this caravan were to reach Makkah, the Makkans would mobilize an army, and this army would fight the army of my army, and this would eventually pose a threat to the religion of Islam. When Abu Sufyan had found out the Holy Prophet wishes to go towards his caravans, he told his camel rider Zamzam to go to the people of Makkah, tear his top from both back and front, pierce his camel's nose and to slash his ears, and to proclaim to the people of Makkah, it was the army of Rasulullah that did this to me, and the army of Rasulullah wishes to go to the caravans and to stop them. Of course, this claim wasn't true at all, but it made the Makkans rise up, and it made the Makkans join the army of Abu Sufyan. Why, one would ask? Because the Makkans had already sacrificed their prophets for that year. Now they have heard the Holy Prophet wishes to go towards these caravans and to stop these caravans. They didn't want that at all. Rasulullah had told his people, we must go towards these caravans, we must stop these caravans, so who will come with me? He rounded up about 80 Muhajirun and 233 Ansar, raising a collective total of 313 companions. Him and his companions went to the city, to the southwest city of Medina, to a village called Badr. He told Imam Ali alayhi salam to go to the wells of Badr to find out about the whereabouts of this caravan. When Imam Ali had gone to the wells of Badr, he saw 3 people, 2 of whom were talking about the possibilities of war. He collected these 2 people and brought them back to the Holy Prophet. The Holy Prophet had asked these 2 people, what possibilities of war are you talking about? These 2 people had responded, there is a rumor going around that you, the Muslim army, have gone and attacked the caravans And now the Makkans have mobilized an army of 1,000 men wishing to kill your army and wishing to fight the Muslims. The Holy Prophet was astounded and he was shocked. He had now faced an issue, whether to go to these people and to fight them or whether to head back to their hometowns in Medina. So he decided to ask his companions. Abu Bakr and Umar al-Khattab had suggested the army of the opposition is far greater, and as a result the Muslims should head back. However, Miqdad bin Aswad stood up and he said, Ya Rasulullah, we will support you in whatever decision you will make. We won't be like the people of Musa. When Musa had asked his people to go and fight in the way of Allah, they had responded, Ya Musa, you and your Lord can go and fight in the way of Allah whilst we sit in our homes. The Holy Prophet was shocked by the passion of Miqdad, and as a result he decided to ask the Ansari leader whether they were prepared for battle. The Ansari leader said, Ya Rasulullah, we will support you in battle. Even if it means we have to go to the Red Sea and support you in battle, we will support you. Therefore the question arises, what particular events happened during the course of this battle? The battle began when Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, his son Walid and his brother Shayba stood in front of the Quraysh army and asked Rasulullah to send to them their equals for a duel. Many of the companions of the Holy Prophet expected to be called, but the Holy Prophet turned to his own family. He sent Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Hamza, his uncle, and Ubaidah al-Harith. Imam Ali had destroyed Walid. Utbah was killed by Hamza, and they both assisted Ubaidah to kill Shayba. Shayba died immediately, but Ubaidah died too because he had lost his leg, and he was the first martyr in this battle. It was no doubt the bravery of Amir al-Mu'mineen that caused his name to resonate throughout Arabia. Abu Jahl, one of the commanders of the opposition army, didn't want to send any more of his troops to fight Imam Ali or Hamza, so he told his army to advance. Imam Ali and Hamza had held the line, and the Makkans couldn't find a way through. Whilst the Makkans were regrouping for a countercharge, the Holy Prophet had asked the Muslims to go and advance. Imam Ali and Hamza had led the line. The opposition army was annihilated completely, and many of the opposition army leaders were killed, including Abu Jahl himself. 70 of the opposition army soldiers were killed, and it was no doubt Imam Ali was the bravest warrior on this battlefield. He killed 35 people of the opposition army soldiers. The Muslims had won their first battle, but the Muslims has also captured 50 prisoners of war. Therefore the question arises, how did the Holy Prophet treat these prisoners of war? The Holy Prophet had asked his companions, what should we do with these prisoners of war? Umar al-Khattab had suggested, we should kill all of these prisoners of war. Abu Bakr had suggested, we should free all of these prisoners of war for ransom. There were no detention centers around, so the Holy Prophet had asked the Muslims to keep these prisoners of war in their homes. The Muslims would keep these prisoners of war like guests in their home, and would often go hungry to feed these prisoners of war. Those prisoners of war that couldn't be sold but could read and write, their price for freedom was to educate the Muslim children. Here we learn a lesson. Those who claim Islam is a religion of violence and aggression, did Rasulullah kill any of the prisoners of war? No, but not only that, we learned how valuable the Holy Prophet felt education to be, to such an extent that the price of freedom for those that couldn't be sold was to educate the Muslim children. The Holy Prophet wished to set up a system and a faculty of education. We must instill this value in our lives. For surely Rasulullah, we have a hadith from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Seek knowledge from cradle to grave. This is the value of education. Therefore the question arises, how significant was this battle to the Muslims after it was fought? We find prior to the Battle of Badr, no one really knew how great the faith of the Muslims was. And it was in this battle the Makkans had realized how great their faith was. But not only that, this battle ensured and averted the danger from the city of Medina, and it protected the state. However, this battle generated more hostility towards Rasulullah and Imam Ali alayhi salam, and this hatred spanned many generations. It is what caused this hatred to be passed on to the children of Banu Umayyah, who wished to seek this seeking of revenge from the children of Imam Ali alayhi salam and Rasulullah. However, we find this seeking of revenge and hostility is what led to the Battle of Uhud taking place the following year. When visiting the funeral of Marhum Abdullah today, I learned two vital lessons I wish to share with you. The first lesson I learned today was the importance of having a goal in life, and to ensure we know our goal in life. Doesn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah 51 verse 56, I have not created the ins or the jinn except that they should serve me. Our goal in life is to gain proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our goal in life is to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know that and think for every action we do, will this be for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Will this be for the servitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The second lesson I learned was the importance of visiting the graveyard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take away my life like this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doesn't He say in Surah 36, Surah Yasin, in verse 82, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He commands an action to happen, He says be, and it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He wishes to take my life away today, where will I be heading? Jannah or Jahannam? But not only that, I also learned the importance of visiting the graveyard being twofold. The first being to reevaluate our purpose in life and to know where we're heading. But the second, and more importantly for me personally, being we must pray for our marhumeen. We must pray for our deceased. They can no longer pray for themselves and they require our hajat. We must pray for them. And I find me specifically, I haven't gone to the graveyard before today for a very long time. And inshallah, I wish and I think we should all try and go visit the graveyard more often. This is our lasting place after all. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant marhum Abdullah a place in Jannah. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure any of the ailments we may have. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive any of the sins we may have and to forgive the sins of our marhumeen. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the rare appearance of Imam Mahdi, Ajalallahu ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a Surah Al-Fatiha for marhum Abdullah and for all the marhumeen. But before it, the loudest of your salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.